Welcome to Hamiti Buru Ethics. This is lecture by LM Tunizulu. Effects of alcohol on the human body. The conclusion of this topic is unusual, for despite the things we shall prove concerning the destructive nature of beer and alcohol, we promote it. We do that in a way perhaps you have never heard before. Therefore, let us begin. Princess Ndofara Ritia Putu, depicted with a beer jug in front of her face, which means our ancient ancestors enjoyed beer. In almost all African traditional rituals, alcohol is the beverage of choice. Beer production dates back to prehistoric times and era. It has consistently been a homemade art or science involving an array of materials and processes. You can read Amadou and others 2011. But we are clearly informed and we can see that alcohol can reduce communication between your brain and your body. This makes coordination more difficult. Chronic and severe alcohol abuse also leads to permanent brain damage. This can lead to many other diseases and the brain disorders, and also affects memory. How then do we reconcile the fact that our ancestors and our traditional religion employs beer as the choice libation agent to propitiate and activate spirits into the physical realm? How do we reconcile that? Consider these other facts: the effects of alcohol on the human body. It destroys the liver. Alcohol, specifically ethanol, a nervous system suppressive agent, when ingested in excessive quantity, has drastic effects on the human body, like liver cirrhosis, and increases cancer, coma, and in some cases even death. Alcohol, ethanol, highly volatile, and also has a distinct odor. And it has an affinity towards water. In fact, its high solubility in water makes it one of the most important depressants of human central nervous system. It is powerful and hypnotic and sedative, and has other side effects that affects the central nervous system and affects human life. Alcohol, this word, is thought to derive from alcohol, a body-eating spirit, completely opposite from what our ancestors taught us, that alcohol should be a spiritual enhancing agent or a body building food. Concerning the brain in the human body, changes gradually over time. At initial stages, the drinker feels more relaxed and cheerful, which is followed by more stumbling movements and animated speech. They become more confident, shying off their inhibitions. This happens because of the increased metabolism in the nigrostriatal pathway, this pathway in the brain, which is associated with body movements. While increased alpha waves from brain makes a person more cheerful, relaxed, stimulation by alcohol to the cortex, the hippocampus of the brain, helps to shed off inhibitions. This stage is often termed as euphoria, where the BAC is around 0.03 to 0.12% alcohol in your blood. So this is what it does to your brain, and we have seen what it does to your other organ. Absorption and distribution mechanism. When consumed, alcohol first irritates the mucous lining of the mouth, atherosclerosis, and then esophagus, causing an anesthetic effect. Then it goes to the stomach, where only 20% of the total quantity is absorbed by it. Rest 80% is then absorbed by the small intestines, from where it gets distributed throughout the human body. Alcohol travels through the blood and comes into the vicinity of the cells of almost every organ. As mentioned earlier, due to its high affinity towards water, it can penetrate almost all cellular membranes, resulting in absorption by all organs. That's quite straight and clear, and it is also toxic. And it can also cause a lot of carcinogenic effects from alcohol. It comes under group 1, carcinogens. Although previous studies have failed to establish direct connection between alcohol and its effect on cancer, there is a strong indication to suggest that alcohol enhances the effects of other carcinogenic chemicals like tobacco. Acetaldehyde, the byproduct of metabolism of alcohol, if it becomes too concentrated in high amounts, it then damages the DNA of cells. Their reactions with the polyamines can end up forming mutagenic DNA. So it changes you in a way that is totally and different from what we know. The excessive consumption of alcohol also makes the mouth, the larynx, the pharynx, or esophagus more prone to cancer. Like that. Go to Wikipedia, alcohol and cancer, and you can see its negative and very, very sad impact and effects. General effects on the human body. There are many different effects of alcohol on the human body subject to their concentration in the blood. They are generally classified as follows, given here. Normal behavior, these are the percentages. Lower inhibition up to the onset of alcohol poisoning, as well as onset of coma and death by perspiration arrest is quite possible. Go to many websites like this one indicated to see how it damages and destroys the human body. Today, alcoholism is a major public health problem in our community as Black people and Africans and Bantus. It has destroyed families and caused a lot of abuse. While consumption of alcohol develops an array of diseases, its withdrawal also develops symptoms like delirium tremens, which has high percentage of mortality rate, about 35% if not treated and managed properly. During pregnancy, alcohol consumption can lead to fatal alcohol spectrum disorders in the fetus. There is an indication there. You should never drink if you are pregnant. Beer may have been invented by the ancient Africans, but then it was heavily altered in medieval monasteries, which gave us the modern brewing process as we know it today. That's very, very critical and important. Beer was an African invention, and it's now being processed and made through another process, distillation process. To this day, several methods are used to make the finest. You can be showing them here to fake the alcohol that we have today. The ancestor Ausari was responsible for successful farming on the banks of the River Nile and all over the earth. He taught us how to brew beer and make wine. And when we bury our dead and celebrate our dead, beer is consumed to celebrate them in their resurrection mode as living spirits. That's what we use for beer. That's where spirit comes from. Ancient Nubians made beer by a crude process according to today's analysis, but it's not. You shall see very shortly. Flour was mixed using a crude process of fermenting bread, which is sadza, made from various grains. Now, this is what they did. And this is the process, the partial process that we are using, that we know today, but we have lost the actual process. Instead of using maize, we should use millet or sorghum to make what is known as maheu. Maheu is the name of a sorghum or millet-based non-alcoholic beverage produced and consumed by many people in Southern Africa. If you leave them and process them a little bit more, you can make the beer that we are talking about versus the commercial one. Also known as amaheu, amarehu, amaheu, maheu, mabudu, metogo, mashleu, and mufulo. The method uses sorghum and millet malt or wheat flour, which can be added and provides the inoculum and also the reaction. You can also make them sweet or sour or neutral. They are a food. See, even children can drink. Therefore, in conclusion, modern beer is a poison, a commercial poison. African traditional beverages are widely consumed food-grade liquids processed from single or mixed grains, mostly cereals, by simple food processing techniques, of which fermentation tops the list. Right? It's not the only way, fermentation, but it's one of the ways. But there are other ways, many, many ways. These beverages are very diverse in composition and nutritional value, and are specific to different cultures and countries. Thus, it is clear that modern beer is more on the poison or acidic side than food. it would be ridiculous that our ancestors would brew a poison to use in medication, rituals, food, celebrations, and commercial currents. It's impossible. Therefore, we have lost the real method of the brew. But the partial process, we know, produces maheu, a very good food, a very good product. Go to this online and study more about these brews. We have reconciled the fact that our ancestral traditional religion employed a beer that was brewed using a process that made it suitable for food, drink, libation, and an agent to propitiate and activate spirits into the physical world via manifestations. They used natural grains, not genetically modified grains. They also used non-metallic utensils. And there is a process that should be there, that we should research, and that we should find. Suffice to say, even in ancient times, some of our ancestors also abused beer. It is time to be real. Subscribe to our channel, Committee Hebrew Ethics. This preacher Rabbi LM Tumizulu. This is our email. Thank you, Tatenta Siabonga. Till we meet, let us get drunk from the real beer.